Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and it is Thursday. Yet one more day before we can make it through the weekend. Yesterday, Joe Biden became president of the United States, and our phones have not stopped ringing yet. And for good reason. And it's so funny. I hear these people say, "Oh, what a great speech." I thought that speech was, well, I can't even tell you what I thought because I don't have the vocabulary to pull it off because all as I can use is my very limited vocabulary that has words in it that the FCC would not like. Once again, apparently we have this raging white supremacist problem. 75 million of them, apparently, here in the United States, if you want to believe the president, using executive orders left and right. I don't even know what he's up to in executive orders. I think he's up to 30-some executive orders already. I think by the end of the week, it'll be approaching 50 executive orders. So much for democracy. 800-951-0592. That's the phone number. allamericangold.com. That's the email address. The physical delivery of precious metals. We do it better than anybody out there, and we appreciate all the business and the support. We're caught up. Matter of fact, I went through the stacker today just to make sure we don't have anything here in Phoenix that's older than the 19th, which was Tuesday. And most of those have Silver Eagles in it. So the Silver Eagles, still available right now, but it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks for Silver Eagle. We've been telling you. Gold has just disappeared. I bought hundreds of thousands of dollars of gold in the last couple of days. It's gone. It's just gone. It's just that fast. But don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll be able to help you. Let us know. A few quick updates. Don't forget the 1360 blog site and our group of young writers. We're still trying to get more of them, and we're trying to get at least one or two stories up there every day. Make sure you continue to check that out. And a big shout out to all of you that are supporting the radio station through our shopping cart there, 1360khnc.com. Click the shop button. Our CBD products. We've added 2 new products. So we have the tincture for your pets. We have the tinctures for us humans. We had the salve, right? And I was telling you, I used the salve and the tincture both. Then we added lotion, which, by the way, I got a sample and I've started using it. My wife is using the lotion. Especially if you've got this just pain everywhere, the lotion's great, fantastic. That is now available. And then the coffee, and I was looking at it. It's a 1 pound bag of coffee, and we drank it today. We've been using it here because they give me samples so I can talk about it. And it's not cheap. The coffee, the 1 pound bag of coffee is like $59, I think, something like that. And essentially in a 1 pound bag of coffee, you get about, I guess it depends on who's doing the scooping, but about 50 cups. So for a little over $1 a day, you can get your CBD that way. So kind of a different, everyone's different. Like for me, I like to use the salve and the lotion because where I hurt, it's mostly old, athletic injuries. My knee, my left knee's got to get replaced at some point, so I got issues there, and that causes issues in my hip, and of course, you guys remember my elbow surgery. That scar there still gets a little tender, but I like to apply it that way. That's just how my mind works. Other people like to take the tinctures, the drops, and they put it in their coffee, or maybe they take it directly on their tongue, and then this way here, a lot of you like me, hey, I'm drinking coffee every day. Maybe I'll do it that way. So that's all up there now. So we're up to 5 products. My Kind, huge supporters of the radio station. We sell their product less than they sell their product by a lot. We are the cheapest My Kind seller in the country. These folks have won more awards for their. Now they were obviously do a lot with the cannabis. All of our CBD products. I want everyone to know there's no marijuana in it. There's no THC. None of that stuff. Everything is independently lab certified. If it's on our website, it's been certified by the lab. Everything they do is all organic. Everything from the hemp to the manufacturing to all of it, all done in Colorado, all right here in the great United States of America. None of that foreign crap. No synthetic CBD, which a lot of the cheap CBDs out there, it's from China, synthetic, none of that stuff. This is the best of the best. On their cannabis side, they've won dozens of awards for their stuff. They make great quality products. Now they're doing the CBD, the non-cannabis stuff, and they're going to win mega awards for all of that too. I guarantee it. When we get back, I've got a great item. It's going to go quick. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Going to do something. We try not to do this. I like to spend more time before we get into pitching any gold. But today, this is something that it won't last. So I want to get it out there because it's not offered to just me. This is offered to hundreds of dealers in the country, and I want you to be able to take advantage of it. We know, listen, silver's wiped out. Gold's wiped out. Matter of fact, I talked to the Bullion Bank yesterday. 3 weeks now for Gold Eagles. At least we got a time frame. So the Gold Eagles, the stuff that we got to put into IRAs has been out, just like the silver's been out. In about 3 weeks or so, they'll have some more of that, and it'll go right away. I mean, there's no doubt the mint is producing as fast as they can. We're seeing the premiums rise. Obviously, now gold prices, and I figured this would happen. Once we got through the inauguration, and now the gold price is going to start paying attention to the socialists and how much money they want to spend and how big, and gold prices are now back on the rise, but premiums are on the rise. The low end, in the old gold market, there's nothing out there. The Saints, the Liberties, the 5s, the 10s, the 20s. I bought every one in the country I could find over the last 48 hours. But today we've got, because of that, an opportunity in the graded gold market. And I know for some of you, you don't know what that is. That's okay. For a lot of you that have been listening to us for the last 25 years, you guys know what I'm talking about. But we're talking about getting way up there and at a price that I think is an absolute steal. So in the gold market, in the gold industry, when a coin got minted, these are all, we're talking about pre-1933 gold, not this slab Gold Eagles crap. But when gold got minted, take a $20 gold piece, because that's what we're going to sell. And particularly today, we have a $20 St. Gaudens Mint State 64s. PCGS and NGC, that's it. Those are the only two that I carry here now. PCGS and NGC, because they're the best. They're the best of the best when it comes to grading. And these are Mint State 64s. For $2,275. That's only $100 above what our regular yesterday we were selling $20 gold pieces, $21.75. These are $22.75. I only got 50 of them, and I'm telling you that's an outrageous deal when you think about where a circulated with is for the extra $100. I think it's well worth it, and I'll get into that right now. So when they minted these coins, and Brooke and Arlene don't even know that I was running this, so hopefully they heard me. The Mint State 64 Saints at $22.75. When they minted these, okay, good, thank you, Arlene. When they minted these, they put them in these big burlap bags. If you've ever bought junk silver, same thing, same big bag, these burlap bags. And they would put 1,000 of them in a bag. And those bags would get distributed to the banks. Now, even during the St. the automobile came into existence during that time, but by and large, these things were going by, horse and buggy, right? Stagecoach, the train, right? And they'd bounce around, but they would end up in the vaults of either a Federal Reserve Bank who would distribute them to the other banks or in one of those banks. Some coins never got out of the bag. On a lot of these bags, full bags would be shipped overseas. They'd go on boats back to Europe. They would hold them over there. If the coins never saw the light of day, right now maybe they bounced around and the coins on the top or the coins on the bottom. Okay, we've only got 10 left. Call and book all 50 with Doug, please. We only got 10 MS64s left at the $22.75, and they would. Some of them had more coin marks than others. How's that? And they would take these bags and they would send them to PCGS or they would send them to NGC. And a numismatist, and that's a hard word for me to pronounce, they would put them under the microscope and inspect these coins. And they had a grading level, 60 to 70, kind of like 0 to 10. 10 being perfect. There are no perfect coins. None. The vast majority of them that end up getting graded are Mint State 61 and Mint State 62s. Then there's 63s. When you get to the 64s and higher, you're really getting up there. I want to say, like the highest grade, there may be a couple MS 68s and a handful of 67s. But 64, 65, 66, those are much harder to get. There's just not that many. Because you can imagine just the way they transported them was going to cause imperfections. And back then, the minting machines weren't nearly as good as they were today. So they're much harder to get. They have really big premiums on it. So we're fortunate to have them here today. Like I said, there's only 10 of them left because there are no more of them. They had 50. We just bought them all. You heard me. I just bought them all. That's all there is at $2,275 at 800-951-0592. And we'll go from there. So there you go. That's the item. I've done it. We'll talk about it later. We had jobless claims today, another 900,000. So another big number. I actually expect next week it'll finally go back below 900,000 as the holiday stuff ended. But we also started to hear what the Democrats have in mind on their go big, right? Remember Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen said, go big. Right? I'm the Treasury Secretary. The smartest thing I can think of is to spend a ton of money. Well, today we heard the first round. Democratic senators are now calling for, we are sold out. Sorry, we are sold out of the 64s. So Arlene just handed me that note. We are now getting our first infrastructure spending number from the Democrats, talking about the inauguration speech that Biden made. He introduced a $2 trillion plan to renew the nation's infrastructure. So let's see, we got $900 billion from Trump, $1.9 trillion from the proposal for the next round. Now they're saying they want $2 trillion for infrastructure. Okay, not stimulus. This is infrastructure. He says that they're going to unveil a detailed plan in February. Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, is now calling for $4 trillion of spending as the Democrats are taking control of Congress. The most important thing to do, spend $2, $3, $4 trillion. A lot of people have lost their jobs. Those jobs aren't coming back. We need to put them to work. This is why you're buying gold. 800-951-0592. And again, we'll chase some other specials. Listen, specials are going to be hard to come by. There's just not a lot of product out there, and anything at a good price, gone. I mean, it is what it is, and you start thinking about, just listen to what they're saying. Right now we're talking 2, 3, 4 trillion. Now, at least he was we're going to do that over time. We're not going to do it all at once. But they also want $2 trillion for clean energy. Okay, so let's see, $2 trillion for infrastructure, $2 trillion for clean energy, and so far we still haven't. You got to remember the $900 billion only gets us through March. Matter of fact, a bunch of the airlines all agree because they're getting their money again. Okay, we won't lay anybody off till March, and we know that travel's not back, so in March they're going to need more. Same thing, the checks. The extra money, all that stuff ends in March. So that's when we look for the $1.9 trillion to come in. That still has to be passed. They're talking about what is going to come next. The next one, right? We know they want to add another $1,400. They're going to extend unemployment, add the $100, do all that stuff. The problem is now the next one. How much more for the states? In the $1.9 trillion, we know that the state number is like $800 billion. That's not enough. It's not enough. And now we're hearing infrastructure spending $2 trillion for this year, another $2 trillion, according to the deal. 2, 3, 4 trillion. Why not? And then they're talking about clean energy. Initial price tag, and this is just coming from Democrats. Joe Biden saying $2 trillion more for clean energy. So this is going to be a really hard deal to come by. I don't know. How do we pay for it? Who's going to buy it? Right? We kind of know that, right? We know who's buying it, right? The central bank is going to end up buying it. And at what point does all of this come to an end? And at the same time, Janet Yellen, who was, she's been talking a lot lately. We're going to hear a lot from her, right? Because she's going to be the Treasury Secretary. I'm sure she's going to be on TV every week. You notice, if you haven't noticed, Bitcoin taking it on the chin today, as Janet Yellen has now said, this was late Tuesday, calling on U.S. lawmakers to curtail the use of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin over concerns they are mainly used for illegal activity. So Bitcoin and cash, now you're going to get the same thing. Right? Who uses cash? Criminals, drug dealers, terrorists, right? White supremacists. Right? Throw them all in. I'm sure Antifa, right? And now Janet Yellen saying, "Hey, Bitcoin's the same thing." It's all nefarious. They're saying that there's been a surge in interest in Bitcoin. Yellen's comments suggesting that incoming Biden administration will be hostile to cryptocurrencies and ramp up regulations. So again, I'm just throwing that. This is what's going to happen. I told you this. They're never going to allow it to compete. And quite honestly, I want to be truthful. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't conspiracy about it. They can't. They can't. I mean, can you imagine when this bubble burst, right, and the chaos that's going to ensue, and the move to a digital currency? How many people would like, I'll put my money anywhere other than back in the United States again? They can't allow it to compete. So just be careful out there. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.
Use words.
Listen, and we're going to see so much more of this. Right? All of a sudden, just like I told you, right, everyone's going to try to legitimize crypto. And then you're going to see all the central banks push back in a big way. And I'm going to read you, this is Janet Yellen. We're going to talk about the ECB, the Bank of England, and it has to be this way. This is why, Ron Paul used to always say, let all the currencies compete. Let gold compete. Let silver compete. If you want to have crypto, let it compete. They can't do that because they have to have your dollars. More than ever now. Think about every time you hear me talk about spending trillions. And some of us thought we were talking with a customer, and we were talking about 1 trillion seconds. And I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll probably get it wrong, but it was like 37 years or something like that. Maybe even longer. Maybe it was 237 years. I mean, $1 trillion is so massive. We really can't comprehend it. We throw it around all the time, and everyone's so used to it now. I remember when $1 billion was a lot. Right? Now it's trillion, and it's nothing. It's massive. And here's what they're talking about. So Janet Yellen was asked the question about the dangers of using cryptocurrencies. You're absolutely right, she said, that the technologies to accomplish this change over time. And we need to make sure that our methods for dealing with these matters, with terrorist financing, change along technologies, and all of those things, that we're ready for it. Cryptocurrencies are a particular concern. I think many are used, at least in a transaction sense, mainly for illicit financing. And I think we really need to examine ways in which we can curtail their use and make sure that money laundering doesn't occur over these channels, right? And I laugh because right now, you're a money launderer if you've got cash. You're a terrorist. You're a drug dealer. You're using it for illegal activities and nefarious activities. Now here they come. Her comments echoed those of the European Central Bank President, Christine Lagarde. Last week, Bitcoin has been used for some totally reprehensible money laundering activities. Warren Buffett, Bitcoin has been used to move around a fair amount of money illegally. Investors should go short suitcases as criminals would no longer need them to carry cash. That was actually pretty funny. Right? Hey, there's an advantage, right? Apparently, the luggage makers may take a hit on the crypto here because, everybody knows. That's how we carry our cash around, right? We carry them around in suitcases, right? Because it's in the movie, so that must be what we do. Idiots. Anyhow, I just wanted to again try to keep you in the loop. I'll do the best we can. This has to be either we need to move back to sound money, or we're stuck in this horrible debt cycle that has now put the United States, and whether they want to admit it or not. And again, like I said, set all the other crap aside. The election, right, wrong, or indifferent, really didn't matter that much. It really didn't. I'm getting handed more notes here. Yep. And sorry. It's crazy in here, I'm telling you. Now I lost my train of thought. What were we talking? Oh, the debt and all of the money creation, and can we go back to a gold standard? Yesterday I told you an ounce of gold would have to be $70,000 to go back to a full. That would be full conversion. In other words, dollar for dollar. And obviously, we're talking. That number's old, right? That's an old number now. Because we already know, hey, listen, we're going to add another 5, 6, 7 trillion here in the next 12 months. So that number's going to grow and keep growing. Maybe they could do a partial back. I don't know what that would look like. But I don't think that's what they intend to do. Listen, they're in power. I'm not talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about the bankers. They wanted Joe Biden for a reason. They're going to end, this is just my opinion, the cryptos are going to be, I think they disappear myself, or they're going to be regulated to the point where, it's not considered money, can't be used as money, can't be, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what its value would be after that. And maybe they would take the technology, right, the blockchain technology, but outside of that, I don't know any value for it as money, because they want power. I think we're going to see the amount of banks continue to disappear. And already, for all practical purposes, it has. I mean, outside of the top 100 banks, do you need, you take the other, 4,500 banks that are left and add them all together. And maybe they crack the top 100. They get nowhere near the top 10 as far as deposits and things of that nature. So they've already really done it. They're going to do it some more. And look at the people, look at the administration that Joe Biden's put together. This is all, everybody seemingly was part of the Obama administration. So they're right back on schedule. Right? They're right back on schedule. Donald Trump was a blip in the radar, but used to, right? Well, what have they done? They've demonized 75 million people. We're the worst people ever. Get prepared, because the ride's going to start picking up steam here really fast. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. The Dow is down. Not a lot. It's down about 30 or 40 points. As I think a lot of people are starting to wonder here, what are we really in for? Gold's pretty flat. It's down $3, 1863, 1864. Silver's really flat, unchanged at $25.76 as the Biden administration now starting to leak out details of their spending plans, infrastructure, green energy, anywhere from $2 trillion apiece to $4 trillion apiece. We haven't heard anything on the next round of stimulus yet. Obviously, and I don't think they've got 8 weeks left, maybe 8 or 9 weeks left on the 900 some billion from Trump. So very quickly, I think you're going to see Congress start to act on this 1.9 trillion number. Then I think next we're going to hear about infrastructure, green energy, and then later in the year again, another round of stimulus. Again, I don't know how you pay for it, right? I don't know. How do you do it? And this is why I think you're seeing everybody move into the gold markets. And now, of course, you've had the big, I guess, outside of the Chinese, the ECB, that's the European Central Bank, our central bank, and the UK Central Bank all come out and vilify Bitcoin. And of course, it has to be. They don't want competition. They hate gold. They hate it. Well, gold, there's no inflation. We can't create money out of thin air, right? Why would we want to create money out of thin air? Wouldn't that mean it's really not worth anything? I mean, if you could just create something out of thin air, right? What are we? A genie? Where they got a lamp and they just rub it and they get 3 wishes? Right? Just that premise alone is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, how did you make that? Oh, I made it out of thin air. Oh, well, wow. Look at the value of that. Right? I mean, and somehow this is where we're at, where they by default, this is what they want. They want to take $100 and make it worth $2. They did it in 50 years. And I think $2 is generous. Right? And I did the argument yesterday. Gold was $42 50 years ago. 42. So if you had $100, you could buy 2.38 $20 gold pieces. And I'm not going to use the Mint State 64 ones. Today, they're $2,175 today. So that $100, if you put it into gold, would be worth $5,178. If you kept it in paper, you still got the $100. And all this gold is telling you is, in 50 years, what you used to buy for $100, 50 years later is going to cost you $5,000. Period. It was $100, now it's $5,000. And here's the thing. we were somewhat good stewards, and I'll use the word good when it came to debt, right? We tried to limit our making up of money out of thin air, didn't we? I mean, the deficit was $400 billion in 1971. It was only $5 trillion around 9/11. So in 30 years, we added just under $5 trillion in 30 years. In the last 20 years, we've added 23 trillion. And as all of us know, right, the number's getting a lot bigger now, right? Now we're talking, I mean, I don't know where we end up with Biden. But 2021, it'll be a record. Is it going to be 4 trillion, 5 trillion, 6 trillion, 7 trillion, 8 trillion? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of trillions. And so now what they're saying is, and we're not going to wait 50 years to turn that $5,000 into $100. We're not waiting that long. Right now we're on the hyperspeed. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Thursday. And I just got handed another note. Okay, so here's what we've got. I apologize. We sold out of the first special. This one's a little more friendly on the pocketbook. We've got about 100. What they're saying to me is AU quality. So AU would be almost uncirculated. This would be, hey, it's almost a gradable coin. $10 liberties. And we're going to run them at the exact same price. You know what? Scratch that. We're going to run them $10 less than our circulated $10 liberty, because I don't have any circulated $10 liberties. So 1,085. So right now, 1,095 would have been the price for a circulated. This is what they're saying is AU quality. Got 100 of them at $1,085 at 800-951-0592. By the way, I just did the math. 2 of those would be $2,170, which would make it less than a 20 as well. So, just another good reason. There you go. AU quality $10 libs, $1,085 at 800-951-0592. Take the time, put them away. Silver, junk silver's available. Silver Eagles. You're going to have to wait 3 weeks before they are back inside. My guess is that may be a pattern here for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the dollar today, remember, we're looking for about 88.5. The dollar breaks below 88.5. We're going to have a big dump. And I think with all this spending talk, we're going to get to it. Now that Biden's in, everyone's focused away now, and they're going to focus in on what their spending plans are, and got Janet Yellen behind them now, and they control Congress. I wouldn't be surprised. The dollar having a lot of weakness today, trying to hold on to that 90 level. And even when that bond market shot up and the dollar really couldn't rally, big indication, I think, of what's to come. So take the time, put them away. AU quality $10 liberties at $1,085 at 800-951-0592. If you've never ordered before this, it's so easy. Brittany or Arlene are here today. You just tell them you want the special. They're going to get you with a really big hard sales pitch. How many? How many would you like? And then they're going to give you a total. You can mail us a check. You can come to the office and pick them up. We do everything by appointment there. If you want to use a credit card, we split it with you. We charge 2%. And really, I mean, I don't know why I don't. I should charge 3%, but charge 2% for the credit cards. We take all 4, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover. 800-951-0592. Hey, continue to support the radio station. Buy those CBD products. I've been using. I'm telling you, they're fantastic. You'll love them. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. We got one more show tomorrow. Take care. God bless.